Okay. So we were just talking about how, and Amanda will join here in a few minutes, but so I had an epic sourdough fail today. Um, that was fun. I did everything right. Everything looked fine. It fermented overnight. It was great. I took it out to like split the loaf in two, and then I went to like do make the boule is what it's called. And I don't know if I just didn't do it tight enough or what, but it just like deflated.
Tyler will have to bring it in to show those who are viewing the video right now because it's pretty epic.
Oh, he's making a sandwich with it.
Oh, come on, Tyler. It's a pizza crust. It really is. It was a pizza.
It's a dense motherfucker.
I guess it's now a panini.
Hold
Sour
on. I'll tell him to
panini.
bring it in here when he's done.
Yeah, let's see what the sandwich looks like. Hello, audience.
Bring the sandwich in when you're done so we can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear less clothes.
You're gonna be on camera. No. All right, he's coming back.
Okay.
So for those viewing, be ready for your viewing pleasure. My epic sourdough fail and Tyler in short shorts because he's at home. So yeah.
So while you're becoming a sourdough mama, I've become more of a plant mama.
Oh, I love it. I want to do more of that too.
Oh no. There I go. This is me like in technology. Yeah.
There we go. I should
This
probably unblur my background so when he comes in, people can see it too. But yeah, it's so cute. I love it.
little plant. So I really love the Planta app because it tells me when to fertilize it and when watering it. So at least I get little reminders of when to do it because I know nothing about plants, but I want to become a plant mom. So
Hmm. I hear that. My friend Erin is like super into it and like she knows so much now.
yeah,
And she has like a green thumb. Like she never used to, and then she just got really into it, and now she has like plants galore. So that is my next goal is to get some more plants too, and just because they just like make everything so much brighter. So it's nice.
it's harder with like yourself too, where we don't have direct sunlight. So I'm still going to try to figure out like how to do it on the on like the windowsill. So then at least it gets a little bit because this like money tree needs more direct sunlight, but not really. So
Mm,
it's going to be a work in progress. It may definitely.
yeah. I mean, I know people get as fancy as like they get certain lights up and then they get like a little humidifier kind of thing going and stuff like that. And then they just have like a whole little plant corner. So
Right.
yeah, I
Especially,
mean, you could go like balls out and just do it.
I have too many hobbies, right? I need to chill.
It's funny because I was literally just gonna post about like hobbies and stuff, like doing something outside of bodybuilding like tomorrow because I'm like, I used to be so into like, and it's hard like in bodybuilding to just have like this be your only hobby. And I think it is important to have some stuff outside of bodybuilding because what are you going to do when bodybuilding's done, kind of thing, right? So, you know, I've really gotten into sourdough and stuff like that. I like to read books, like I have dogs, and like, now I have the girls and they keep me busy. So, that's nice. But yeah, I think that that's something that everyone should do is just like find some other hobby because it will take up your time and then you'll get, just super into it and mindlessly work on things, which is great.
Well, and especially in the off season when we have more time available to ourselves, where we're not so deep into cardio and meal prepping every minute or planning ahead of every day, which, yes, in the grand scheme of things, it shouldn't be more than 2 hours out of your day. But with that, keeping your mind off of physique goals and having something to attain that is rewarding and gives you that dopamine without it being, solely focused onto your physique because that's what bodybuilding is. It's all about your physique. And so here it's like, okay, well, this plant is my cat. This plant is not going to judge me, for what I look like. So,
The plant does not care. It just wants sunlight
plant
and
doesn't
water,
care.
man.
Yeah, it just wants to be alive. That's all it cares about. So we
Yeah.
should probably do the
And
same.
and when Amanda comes on, like she should talk about this too, because she talked about it in her story this week about how like when she's in prep, she likes to do like some projects. And I think that that was a really good idea, just to like keep your mind busy. Because like when you're in prep, it can be so hard because you're just so fucking hungry all the time. that you just want to eat, and like having some other projects to work on keeps their mind busy, keeps you doing things, keeps your, your mind off of food and stuff. Hi, Lucy.
Cute. She's so adorable.
She's just gonna be like over here in the corner, just chilling.
Yeah, I didn't realize she has like those beautiful stripes on her too as a calico.
Yeah, she's a very interesting calico color because she's got like the hard stripes, and then she's like a lighter color. Like she doesn't really have black on her, but yeah.
No, she's so pretty. But yeah, I know it's one of those because, it's very much like during prep, if you're only thinking about prep, it makes it that much harder. And
Mhm.
you have to be able to go out and do things, plan to keep yourself busy. Because it honestly will help the prep be that much easier if you're not just solely focused on prep. And no
Yeah.
one likes you if you're only focused on prep.
Hmm.
You
Yep, I agree. If you're allowing your prep to be like, I'm just gonna be a hermit and like go hermit mode, and like if you're using that as an excuse to like not go do anything, be mean to people, be like, I'm just having a hard day, like I just can't handle this today, like you probably shouldn't prep. Like if you can't handle like living your normal life for the most part, like, obviously like there's certain things like, when you're 6 weeks out, okay, I'm gonna buckle down and like not really go anywhere, like I'm just gonna kind of chill. Like, do you have to go to every social event? No, because you shouldn't do that in real life either. So, it's kind of finding that balance and stuff of like how you're not gonna let prep affect you, but at the same time, like set your boundaries, be like, I gotta buckle down here. So, you know, I mean, that's gonna be interesting for me this next go around because now like I do have like two little girls in my life. So I don't wanna, and I want to make sure I'm doing putting on a good example for them, and being like, I can have this goal, but like it's not going to affect my time with you and like to play with you and like hang out and like be happy around them and stuff like that either. Like I want to make sure that I'm a really good example for that. So I think that's going to honestly going to be a really good driving factor for me this next prep.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge driving factor. And also, especially for them as well, I'd be interested to see, how you manage your energy levels, because that's going to be the hardest part. And especially
Hmm.
for age too, where it's like, hey, let's go do these things. And then you're going to be like, my legs feel like they're walking in sand. I feel like I'm going to die right now. And you're like, I can't say that out loud.
Yep.
And
Yep. Because
pull it in, but you have Tyler to be able to communicate that, being like, hey, I can't go to the park right now because I really just need to sit down for a minute.
hmm.
So it's going to be interesting, but you have a lot going on that's good, for you. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a really great opportunity and different.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be fun, but it'll be a different kind of experience for this next prep for me. So, which I'm excited for Amanda to hop on because we're going to talk about her prep too, because that's what we talked about last time. So,
We did that and we didn't get a chance to go into it. So I'm very
yeah.
excited.
And I don't have anywhere to be after this. So, like, we can go over our hour too. So, that's fine.
Oh, perfect.
How about you? How has training been going? I know the last time we did an update with you, you were coming out of like your gut phase and everything. So, how's all that going?
Yeah, so I even forgot when we ended that. It's been a while actually. So I think it's been almost a month now back to a normal training where I am able to go to failure. But now like I was even just talking to my coach for training is Nick Loff. And so with him, we're in the group chat with Cameron Cheek and basically able to check in with one another on to say, if Cameron says, hey, I want to see some more rounder delts, okay, then Nick gives that signal being like, hey, this is what the adjustments are made in her training. But with that, I haven't trained to failure in a year, like to the day almost. And so now it's like in my mind, I'm like, well, I want to be perfect on form because that's what we've been working on together since I joined him. But at the same time, now he's telling me full send. And I'm like, what is that? Like,
Like, what is that again?
what? Like, and he's like, you've been training since 2009. Like, you know what it is. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm beginning all over again. Because it's very different than what I've had before, which is exciting, but it's also like in the gym right now, like even this morning during hip thrust, I was like, oh, I could have gotten 3 more reps. Like, what are you doing, Carolyn? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what? And then I was like, no, take a break, go back, do the next, like, do 3 more reps, and then just like call it quits there, and then move on to the next one. So it's like, it's a constant like check and balances right now with training where it's like, okay, am I actually going to failure, or can I, because I would like to have, form be perfect, but I would like to get to that point where it's like the last 2 are rough, like
Yep.
just ugly. And that's where it's like, that's my next goal with training right now. And
Yep.
so I have my check-ins on Tuesdays, and so I just had my cycle last week. So then we're like, okay, let's get the water out, and then possibly next week we may start a cut, which is very exciting, but also at the same time scares the living daylights out of me because my body has a history of not responding until it goes in
Mm-hmm.
death mode where you're like on no carbs and high cardio. Like that's the only way to get it to respond. But that was before I took time back and focused on gut and healing that was not healed previously. So now I'm curious to see how it will respond. But at the same time, it goes to show, it feels like time just flies by because I feel like I was just in prep, and then like all of 2024 was blackout. I just blacked out completely, and then now here we are. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's gonna be so we'll see what he says for next Tuesday's check-in if he does want to start a cut. But again, full send. I'm just like, hey, Cameron, tell me what to do, and we'll go do it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I'm glad you mentioned the thing about like learning how to train to failure again, because I definitely struggled with that too, like this past year, like going and like when Luke and I started working together in March, I was like, oh yeah, like we get to like really get down to it and stuff. And like it was interesting to see the difference in programming because, you know, previously I'd come from where there was like a lot of exercises and like just a lot of volume and stuff and like, trying to keep like reps in reserve because we were too worried about my cortisol and like my cortisol and like I was deloading every like fifth week all the time. And so I was like, but I was only training 4 days a week. So I was like, am I even making any progress? Like, feel fine, And so constantly having that like drilled into your head of like, you're gonna hurt your cortisol, you're gonna hurt your cortisol. Like, I was like, I forgot how to train hard and like I'm scared of it. So like having Tyler with me, training a lot has been really helpful because like I trust him and like it took even a little bit there to be like, oh, I can actually push a little more and like he's got me kind of thing. And like to really learn what failure is. And like I still need reminders too. And so it's like um it's nice to have that again and just to, see the progress that comes with it. So I think um you're gonna progress a lot now. So it'll be interesting to see, how your body responds to after, because we know your dieting history and stuff. Like it just is so rough for you. So I hope it goes well. I hope like we see something kind of come into light there and that I think, but overall, I really think this year is going to be really productive for you. I think so. I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, he has some really encouraging words in check-in. Like the last 2 check-ins have been fantastic. So
Good.
really like, okay, we can do like, it's kind of like, okay. Like before, you kind of have that hesitation of like, can I do this? Can I actually like do better than what has happened in the past? But at the same time, it's like, no, once you have the right community surrounding you, you'll be fine. And especially like
Mhm.
you having Tyler with you in training, well, now you have no back out option, you know? He's
Nope.
right there. You're like, nope, you have no other
Nope.
option but to go forward. So
Yeah, he'll come back. Just the other day, he was like, "Okay, so we're gonna do another set because you were being a pussy on that one," and I was like, "Okay."
thanks, Tyler.
So yeah, he definitely keeps me honest. And like it was really awesome too. Like when we went down to Texas last year to meet with Luke and stuff, like he came with me to make sure to train with me so that he could see the cues that Luke was giving me and Luke could explain to him too of like what to look out for in training. So like it's really nice that like he includes like Tyler in like, that coaching relationship because he's with me every day. So like it's nice to have that. And then they're both on the same page too of like what needs to be done for me to get to me to the next goal and stuff. And so, then they're helping each other out too. So it's been phenomenal. So I love that we're all like with coaches that we really enjoy right now, and like things are just going really well, and like everyone's just like, you know,
That should be the motto for 2025. It's just like,
it's just breathe.
yeah, because I don't think we've done that in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it. I was like, man, like when was the last time like we actually just like chilled?
Mm-hmm.
Except
But
the three of us don't even know what that is. So like don't even like bother.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're
Nope,
like,
I hear
what's
that.
next? What's next?
Yep, it's always just like, okay, did it, okay, next goal, okay, did it, next goal. So I'm with you on that. Like I'm very excited for this year, but I'm also like just a little nervous.
Right. And it's good to be nervous. It is
Mhm.
because you care.
Yeah, right, exactly. You
Yeah.
know.
Like you
So,
want to be able to do it right this time.
hmm and
Which
I
is,
just
mhm.
I feel so much more like aligned with what we're doing versus like last time I prepped and everything. And like going into prep last time too, I was like going through a lot with like going through a divorce and like my dad's, you know, passing away and everything like that, my dad getting sick, that I needed something to like keep me sane. And like that was the only thing I could control and like focus on. So I'm glad that I did it, but at the same time, like it wasn't the ideal scenario to prep in either.
No, no. It's any of that is never ideal. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it was your anchor through all of that. So definitely no regrets for
Yeah.
how it went. Because really like it could have been completely different if you didn't have that.
Hmm.
Yeah. And just being like, hey, just keeping yourself on a schedule, especially among chaotic times,
Yep.
really important, really important. So
Hmm.
it was definitely something that I think helped you a lot in a way that it didn't seem like that in the moment, but at the same time did come at the right time because
Yeah.
you had a lot of purpose behind it too.
Hmm. Yeah, because it was like one of the last things my dad told me was that he was like, I'm gonna be at your show no matter what. And I was like, of all the things, like that's what
Excited.
you're worried about, like going to my show. Like, come on, it's just stupid bodybuilding. But he knew how much it meant to me. So it was like it meant a lot. So now like there's always just a little piece of like my dad there that I'm like, okay, like
Yeah,
he's there kind of thing. So
no,
but
for
yeah.
sure.
But no, what's going on right now in bodybuilding in the news and everything? I don't think there's anything crazy this week that I saw so far.
So, the one piece of news is Angelica is retiring
That's
after
right.
the Arnold. So that's really cool. I kind of had hoped that, like while seeing it on social media, I was kind of like, man, I kind of wish she had waited until doing it on stage. But then I was like, I think she's accepted that there may not be a possibility of winning.
Right.
So that's where it's like, okay,
Hmm.
do the message on social media leading up like 6.5 weeks out, or like at what 6 now. So it's like, okay, good timing for press to get people to come to the show because we all love Angelica. Like she's done so much for the sport. She's so kind. She's given me such great advice. Like it was at the Arnold too and at the Olympia, and she was just like, I was like, man, I wish I kind of got that recorded because like you just said something so perfect, and I'm not going to remember word for word for what you said. I was just so enamored with you. and, but it was yeah, that was hard to see, but it was definitely really cool because, to see her come back after having two kids and then also doing as well as she has, over the years, it's going to be really cool to see her do her finale. And the Arnold would be the place to do it. Like that's really
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's really awesome. Like I know of her. I don't know like a ton or anything like that, but I followed her quite a bit. I'm still learning all the bikini girls because there's just so many. But
Oh, don't worry about it.
you guys send me a different girl every week, and they're like, "Did you see so and so?" And I'm like, "Who is this?"
I don't know. Well,
I'm
Even
trying to
nowadays,
keep up.
I'm trying to think, like, I haven't, well, in the last, I will say, like, the stars to look out for, like, for myself, just being frank, it was just like, I've just stuck with, like, the same, like, I don't know, 5 people to follow. Like, I don't know who's the new one or like, because last year was such a blackout, I removed myself from bodybuilding and I don't know who is popular or doing
Mm,
well. Like, I don't
hmm.
like, I really love Phoebe Hagen and and you know how we were talking about High Rocks, or I was talking about High Rocks?
Yeah.
Phoebe Hagen's doing High Rocks. That's so cool. I was like, hell yeah, girl, go do high rocks. Like, don't do CrossFit, do high rocks. Like, it is so cool to see that. So she made, so that was actually one piece of news that I forgot about that just happened on the podcast the other day, and so that was really cool news. And it definitely seems more endurance based. So if there are runners out there and also like to lift and wanted to be like a team sport, because she's doing it with one other person as a team. That's really freaking cool. And a lot of friends are actually doing, it's not high rocks, but involved in shooting sports, is that there is a couple ruck matches that are coming up like in February. And I was like, I might do that. Maybe
Mm.
kind of
There
cold,
you go.
but
Also, if for anyone that doesn't know, Carolyn is a badass and is really into like shooting and sports, like shooting sports and stuff. So she does a lot of that. She just doesn't talk about it very much, but she's kind of a
let's not
badass.
get demonetized.
You what?
Let's not get demonetized. It's not favorable in the algorithm to talk about pew pews.
Oh, pff, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, this is America.
I mean, we're not getting no monetization anyways. Like, it is what it is.
Everyone
So
watch us, like us, subscribe, hit the bell. I don't know what else there is.
whatever the little jargon is, that's like, subscribe, and share our content, please.
Like,
Hey, we actually did. So I sent you guys like a little review of like our Spotify plays before this. But we're actually like doing pretty solid. Like I honestly wasn't expecting a ton of people, but like we're getting like quite a few views. So for anyone who does watch this, like thank you for one, because like we just like to do this because it's fun and like we get to talk to each other for the week, like every other week, because we never get to, and this is a good excuse to do it. So we're like, why not fucking record it? Because I don't know, and we'll just, have our little girl chat and like it is what it is. So yeah,
exactly.
hopefully it's helpful for people.
Yeah, I hope so. And feel free to DM us if you guys have specific questions. We're always open in the DMs, so feel free to chat with us or even comment on the videos too. I think on Spotify you can actually comment now too.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's been really cool to watch. So we'll always be responsive to that, and especially as we gear up for the Arnold is going to be the next big event.
Hmm.
All three of us will be at. I'm sure there's going to be more news into, leading up to it, just like we had talked about with Angelica making her finale. So it's very exciting to see, not only the lineup is absolutely fantastic. So I always recommend, if no one has ever been to the Arnold before, I would say this would be your year. Definitely make the
Yep.
effort, and it's totally worth it. And even if you, decide to come to, there's more than just bodybuilding. It is Arnold specifically made this event so that he could introduce all sports,
Hmm.
whether it's, powerlifting. Like, I remember, Keela, was that the first time that we met? Was at the Arnold?
No,
No, because it was at conferences, I think, right?
it was at a conference in Denver. That was the
Oh,
first time we met.
Denver 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
That was a good trip.
And
That
then I went to the Arnold in 2020, but that was like where it like got canceled the day before. So there was like nobody there. So it
what's
was weird.
crazy is I was there too.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
we didn't know each
we
other then.
were then.
No. And
Yeah,
then I haven't been back to the Arnold since last year. Me and Tyler went, and now we're going again this year. Um,
sure.
so yeah, it's getting a lot better.
Can't remember the last time I went.
So
22? No,
what was that?
I think I went in 22.
I
Or
have
2020 might have been my last time, honestly.
maybe.
because I left Pittsburgh I'm thinking out loud. I left Pittsburgh in 2020. So
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Because Pittsburgh's only, if you live in Pittsburgh, it's only 2 hours away, so it's a super easy drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you guys, for you
Oh,
guys to watch, come in.
the panini.
I really messed up. Oh boy.
Oh. Oh my God. It's
Oh
in
my God.
fourth.
Okay, this is my sourdough loaf. And this is my boyfriend, everybody.
That thing's fucking heavy.
Probably I don't know.
This is like a solid like 5 pound
Well,
brick.
it's almost 10 pounds.
That's gonna taste so
Wait.
good.
Well, I know what 10 pounds feels like in my hand.
Oh, all right.
You're
Get
gonna
on a
take a bite of that
scale.
and let me know if it sucks before I have to try it.
No, I don't want to take a bite of
I
it.
feel like you should.
It won't fit our
The
macros.
people want to know.
God damn it. What in the
I don't
world?
be mad when it tastes good.
It's actually probably gonna be pretty good, right?
I mean, the inside tastes good. It's just very chewy.
That's what she said.
Would you like a napkin?
No, you're gonna need that one.
So,
Sourdough Adventures. It was a
yeah,
big-
my sourdough fail. It's still being used though, so I mean, it's fine.
Hey, as long as it's still edible and it's not like dough that I showed you.
Oh yeah, that one that you sent me. It wasn't like that. It just was,
So bad.
it just was just flat. It just didn't rise back up. I'm not sure why, but
Wonder if it was it yeast.
But yeah, so there's my sourdough, guys. I'm still perfecting it, not perfect. But I mean, you make lemons out of or lemonade out of lemons. There
Exactly.
we go.
Tyler's eating a whole loaf now.
Mm-hmm.
It
Ah. Okay, so back to the Arnold. One thing that I love about the Arnold is I love the sword fighting.
Honestly, yeah. I
The
do.
medieval sword fighting is so much fun to watch.
They need samurai swords.
Oh,
I could bring two.
I don't know if you get in the building with that
Yeah, probably not.
or on a plane.
No, because I'm driving, silly.
Oh, you're driving?
It's not that far.
How far is it for you?
5.5.
Oh, that's not bad at all. I would drive then.
Yeah. No, I do it like every weekend anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's like we drove last year and it was like 16. So we're like, yeah, no, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, no, don't do it. And especially in this weather.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. We're used to stuff like that at this point. So it wasn't terrible, but yeah. So
No, not for a weekend. If it was like a
No.
longer trip, then yeah, okay.
mhm.
That makes sense. But yeah, if you can fly, then it'll be so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna fly. The only thing with the Arnold that I will always gripe about is that they just don't have all the divisions. And that is like the one thing that if they, and it has nothing to do with the money or anything like that. It's just like if they're gonna call it like the second best show and they're competing with the Olympia to make it the best, like wouldn't you need to have all of the divisions there?
Exactly. I would like every single division to be up there.
Right.
Like knowing that the show is multiple days, you can make it happen. And I know there's been rumor of like, okay, maybe on the Olympia, not just hello, beautiful.
Look at your hair. It looks gorgeous today.
Oh, thank you. I got it done this morning.
Beautiful.
Sorry for being late, guys. It's like, I feel like the last couple weeks have just been like every time I plan something, it's just like my day is just like,
We all have weeks like that. Mhm.
no, it's all like, it's all good stuff, but it's like, we're hiring several people at work. So we're doing tons of interviews and we're trying to do that, not rushed, but efficiently. So that way I can onboard the new person. We might hire one or two people before our busy season kicks in. So we're trying to be effective about it. So it's just been a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of things kind of going crazy. So anywho's in, but at least I got my roots done this morning. That was needing to happen.
There you go. I got a haircut today and she like did a nice curl with it, but as you can see, it's like already just
Oh yeah, your hair doesn't hold curl for,
no, doesn't hold
you're
curl
like,
for shit.
no, but you have like such silky, shiny hair. See, I'm the opposite. My hair will hold curl for 8 days straight,
Mhm.
but unless it's like blown out by a professional, I just have like really dry, porous hair. So it doesn't, it's not like silky. It's kind of like, so I don't know.
Kind of just
It's just like, I don't, it's not like straw. That's a little dramatic. It's just, it's porous and it's dense. So it's just
yeah.
feel like, it feels like Carolyn, it feels like a horsetail. That's how my hair feels. It's not like
Mhm.
soft.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Well, I was
got you.
curious too if it was just because of the dry air in Denver, or is it the time of year, you think?
That's just how my hair is in general. Like it's ever since I was little, I had like each hair strand, it's like thick hair, not like I have a normal amount, but I have highly porous hair too. So the good thing about that is it's voluminous and it holds curl. Like it'll stay like this for days. Like I can sleep on it. It never gets oily. I cannot wash my hair for, I don't do this, but like 8 to 10 days, not a speck of oil.
Nice.
Oh
So
yeah, see after like day 4, mine's like looking a little like wet. And I'm like, yeah, I
yeah,
gotta wash that.
I never have that. I
Mhm.
just get like my scalp will get like dry. So I try to wash it like every 4 or 5 days. Just honestly to put moisture on it because it gets too dry, which is like the opposite of most people.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just have weird hair. Even when I lived in Louisiana in the humidity, it was just like humidity in my hair is not good. I look like it looks like shit. It looks like I got electrocuted. It's
Oh
horrible.
man.
That's why I want to say it, but like the one thing about the downside of, competing in Florida was because like I had gotten, because the makeup artist was at a different hotel than the host hotel. So
Oh
Mm,
no.
so
that's
they
the worst.
perfect, but I didn't pin it up. And instead, just immediately, the doors of the hotel open. And then I get into the taxi. And this is November in Orlando. And like get into the taxi and then just like whip on over to the stage. And then I was like, oh no, everything, like how your hair looks right now is how it looked. And it was curled. And just in that time frame from like stepping outside and getting into the
Yeah.
car and going like
Mhm.
off over. And I was like,
Yeah.
so that's why everyone backstage had their hair pinned until the very last minute.
Literally, if I competed in Florida, I'd be so fucked. Like I would have to be at the hotel, the host at the
No,
venue. And I'm like, I cannot let my head touch the outside because it's like, it just gets like frizzy and kinky because my hair is really wavy and I have like ringlets under here. So if it's like blown out, it's screwed in like minutes. Yeah,
yeah,
not good.
it all made sense, and everyone else looked fabulous, and I looked like a rat.
I'm sure you did not, but I know how you feel. You're like, I just worked my ass off for literally ever. And
My
now
makeup looked great,
Mhm.
but
Yep.
my hair.
I've been there where I've taken like an hour to like curl my hair and like oh, this happened this summer. We went to Zach Bryan concert in Grand Forks and we had to stand outside for like an hour before the thing opened up. And I had
oh
my
my,
hair curled and like I like brushed it out so it looked all nice and like wavy. Like I finally did it like really well one time. And then we stood outside and I got in and it was like this. And I was like so pissed. And I was like, I just spent like an hour doing that.
you're like, never again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
because, so like, this is kind of nerdy, but so your hair cuticle, yours, Caleb, because of how shiny and sleek it is, your cuticle, just like if you were to look at it under a microscope, it's going to be completely flat and like
mhm.
shanked down. Mine would look like frayed a bit just because
Mm.
it's porous. So it's the cuticle is open a lot, whereas yours is down. So whenever you have a cuticle like yours, which gives it the shininess, like the light reflects on it because it's smooth, it doesn't allow really much in or out. So it just doesn't hold anything. Whereas mine, it's a rough surface to begin with. So it grips onto any type of shape change. And it'll hold
Interesting.
it, but yours just, yeah, you've got it, which makes your hair like really strong, but hard to curl.
Yeah. It's very like, it's funny because I have like fine, like thinner hair, but I have a lot of it. So like it's like me and you probably have the same amount of hair. It's just like the difference in like the types of hair it is, which is
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Anywho's in, what were you
Anyway,
guys
there's your
talking
guys'
about
hair
before
lesson.
I interrupted?
You totally missed it. I messed up on a sourdough loaf today, and
Oh
it
no.
turned out flat as a pancake.
Oh
And so Tyler decided that he was gonna make a giant sandwich out of it.
no. There you go. That's a good idea.
And I mean, I don't know if he's gonna get through it because it's dense.
I was gonna say, is it like really dense? Oh no.
It was like this plate was probably like 10 pounds. Like he brought
Oh,
it in wearing his short shorts and cowboy boots, have you? Because that's
oh
what he
God.
does.
Well, if
And
anyone can get through it, it's him.
yeah, I was like, you go for it. He's like, I want to make a sandwich. I'm like, it's
You're
all you,
like, oh
otherwise I'm
girl.
throwing it away. So yeah,
Oh
that was
God.
my fun for the day. But
So big.
What, Carolyn?
Cut into fours because it was so big.
uh-huh.
Yeah, just make it like a pizza. Just cut it in half and make it like pizza bread
That's
Then you
basically what it did.
or
Mhm.
flatbread. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you hit
So mhm.
Can't let bread go to waste. It's like an
No.
abomination to do that.
No.
Blasphemy.
oh, and
And I feel so bad because I had like a 10-pound bag of flour and I've been trying to like get my starter going again and like feed it and everything. And I'm literally almost through this 10-pound bag of starter. And like I've messed up like both loaves now. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going wrong. I gotta figure it out.
I feel like from the very little bit I know about sourdough, but what I do know is that it's making its rounds in the millennial community like a motherfucker. Is that it takes a minute to get the hang of it. And a lot of people I know like screwed up a lot of their first loaves and now they're like amazing.
Hmm.
So I think it just takes time to get the hang of it. Like
Yeah, it'll get there and stuff. It'll be fine. But
you're like, God damn it, all that work.
that's my latest little hobby is sourdough. So yeah, I'm one of those millennials doing that. So
No, hey, it's fruitful. People around you get delicious bread. How is that a bad hobby?
right. Like, and that's what I want to do as when I get old is, just give people baked goods and serve coffee. So
Husbands around the world in the millennial community are thrilled right now that this trend is happening. They're like, whatever she needs to make these loaves of bread.
we could say all the bachelors just are dependent on their air fryers.
Yeah, seriously, just a little bit. I
So,
know. I told Dan, I was like, I just so you know, I'm not going to be one of those like sourdough ladies. He's like, that's okay.
he's like disappointed.
I
Okay.
do not have the patience or the time. I love bread. I will be the taste tester of all taste testers, but man, yeah, I don't have the patience.
I'll send you guys some when I get it right. I'll send you guys some.
We'll take all, even if you don't get it right, we'll still enjoy it.
We'll volunteer.
Yeah, you guys can volunteer as tribute as my taste testers.
Done.
But no, we were just talking about the Arnold before you came on, like right before you got on, just about like how I think we were talking about the divisions. Like it would be, I brought up the point of like it would be so much better if they just had all the divisions, and it's not even like a money thing. It just is like kind of like if you're gonna be like the number two or like compete for the number one show of like the whole country, like you should have all the divisions there kind of thing. Then that's just my opinion on it. But
Well, not even the country, the world. Like
yeah,
it's like the Arnold, Ohio. I know. I still, I mean, okay. Have we had a definitive answer from Arnold as to exactly? I know we all speculate that there's divisions he's not as much of a fan of and he doesn't like, and that's why, or they're not pulling money in or whatever his reasoning is. But I find it unfortunate. Like I get that it's his show, but I find it unfortunate that he's just eliminating half of our sport by not having all the divisions represented. It's kind
right,
of, it just seems a little like, oh, I don't like you guys, so I'm not gonna, which is his right to do. But
right.
when you're that kind of representative, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like,
Well,
meh.
And that kind of like a pillar in the bodybuilding community. Like he's like when most people think about bodybuilding, they think about Arnold Schwarzenegger as one of those people.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of like it would just be nice to like have all of it represented, I guess I should say, and I as far as I know, there's no definitive answer.
Well, like we were talking
Yeah.
earlier, he started the Arnold because he wants more representation of all sports. But it's so
Mhm.
ironic that you decide to cut half, the bodybuilding, actually more than that, considering how many female divisions we have. And now it's like, okay, well, what do you want this to be? Do you want it to be an expo of sports? Or do you want it to be as big as the Olympia? If you want it to be as big as the Olympia, well, you need to have every division represented up there, because you can't say, oh, there's not going to be a moneymaker in it. And I'm like, look at the Olympia. See how
Right.
many people are applying in order to get into the Arnold as it is. I would say, if the opportunity was given, then yes, that we would definitely see a full roster. And you could always limit it too. Even like bikini could be downgraded. I don't know, was it like 10 people? Maybe make it 8, and then have like 8 people for fitness, 8 people for figure. Make it even more elite in order to get into. And then that
It's crazy.
set the bar
Oh,
up.
sorry. Go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, just saying that it would step the bar up for the Arnold if you had even less competitors. Wow. That would be
I just went to I keep thinking you're done because you pause and then I talk and then you're still. I'm sorry.
okay. Just tell me to shut up.
No, I don't want you to, but you pause and I'm like, oh, she's done. And then I feel terrible for her. I'm so sorry. Um, but I just went to the Arnold page to see, like, I just was trying to remember what divisions they don't have. And they
Right.
have the men pinned and the women are not pinned. I was like, oh. So I'm trying to
Makes sense.
scroll. So it's just bikini, fitness, wellness. So they're missing bodybuilding, figure, and fit women's physique. And then for men, they're just missing 212, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Oh. Well, we see who's God's favorite, apparently.
Well, what I don't understand is fitness is one of probably like the smallest division of the entire sport. And I'm like,
Hmm.
it's about what brings in money. I don't know that fitness, I mean, I love fitness. I love it, but it's because of how difficult of a division it is. It's like most local shows don't even have it. Like don't even
No.
have entrances. Like
Mhm.
competitors enter in it.
Oh,
So
pros.
I'm like, if you're going off of that, and figure and fitness muscularity wise are kind of similar. So I'm like, I don't really,
And it's definitely not an issue with like money. Like they don't have the money for it because they just like they like doubled the prize money from last year. So it's
yeah.
like you have the money. It's just like I just can't believe that it's a business decision that it's like gonna like deter people from coming to the shows, because if there's more divisions, wouldn't more people come? And like they already limit the number of people. Even if you did 10 per division, it's still gonna be smaller than the Olympia and more selective, if that's the right word.
Yeah. I don't, because has he come out and said that the reason why ever?
As far as I know, no.
Okay. So we're all just kind of like
It's all
wondering.
speculation.
Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. But I guess there's like nothing anyone can really do about it except for just keep asking. Cause I mean, I love all of our divisions. Like I don't,
Mhm.
that makes me sad. But
Mhm.
it's his show, I guess. It's just also a hallmark of our sport too. It's not just like any, I mean, obviously, like most pro shows don't have all divisions because of the expense incurred
Yep.
with prize money, um, which we get. But for it being the Arnold Classic, I'm just like, how do you not represent? Like, how do you just exclude 4 divisions? But
Mhm.
what are you gonna do? Oh
Mhm.
well. But
Yep.
I'm excited either way to go see
Yeah.
it.
What'd you say, Carolyn?
You could fit it all into one day if you wanted to.
I mean, yeah.
Instead of having long speeches. Like, I could care less about
Carolyn, I love you so much.
sponsor.
I know.
Like, I'm hungry. I'm tired. I want to see finals and go back to the hotel and crash.
Guys, like I love the Olympia so much, but goddamn.
Like,
Like that's
yo,
one of
well,
the number of people, like okay, I feel bad saying this. I may have said this before, but I took a nap during men's physique when they were not on purpose. I was just so tired. Like, love men's physique. You guys are great. It was just, we got up so early to get our VIP seats
right.
to get like a spot as close to the front as we could. And there were like 12 guys in, and I zonked out for a while and woke up and they still had like 15 more to go. I was like,
Oh man.
Dan was like, you were like twitching out. I was like, I was so, I'm like, they're still going.
Well, okay, that year, I think it was 2022, the last year that they did it in Orlando, the last Olympia I went to, and it was also like when it was in December, because it was the really big show. Like there was so many
Yeah.
competitors. And that was the year that we all ended up sitting apart, and like I just went by myself. And so I was just sitting up in the stands like by myself until like 1 a.m. And I also was just like, it was fun, but I was like, this would be so much more fun with somebody with me.
Yeah. You're like, this is cool. However,
Yeah.
kind of,
And I was like falling asleep up there in the stands, and I'm like, we still have more divisions. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
I know, dude. Yeah, it's like what, I don't know. Like, I'm obviously a lot more, when bikini goes on, I'm a lot more engrossed in it because that's my division and I know all the girls. But even classic, like I love classic, I love open. But even both of the, like open only didn't have that many. It's like under 20, but even classic, I was like, I love this division. These men are all incredible, but oh my God, so many people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a
and
lot.
it's like how late it goes as it is. Um, we could shorten the speeches and the number of competitors. I don't know how, sorry, I don't know how because there's been a discussion of like, okay, we do have so many competitors, like we did with bikini last year. There was like what, 40 girls in the Olympia,
Yeah.
and they all won shows. So I do prefer, that people win a show and then go straight to the Olympia. I think that's a great honor, but we do have 40 girls. Okay, how can we shorten this down? And I really don't know how. I mean, yes, we used to have the tier option, used to being like, oh, you won the Tampa Pro or you won New York Pro, then you go to the Olympia. If you won a muscle contest show, no, you don't get to go to the Olympia. But I don't know. I don't know, dude. How do we narrow down the amount of competitors without
I feel like they're gonna have to restructure something here soon, especially with like next year we'll have another division in the Olympia as well. So like they're gonna have to shorten it somehow, So they're gonna make probably different criteria, maybe bring back the point system, but maybe just in a different way. You never know how that's gonna look. So yeah, I don't know.
a division?
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure something out because I mean, maybe they don't, honestly, like maybe,
Another day.
yeah, I was gonna say like maybe,
Sunday
Mm-hmm.
because
or
I was
even Thursday night.
you don't want to discourage, like when you tier the shows, you discourage pros from not doing shows that are not qualifiers, and that's not fair to those promoters. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we want to discourage people from doing a pro show. So I think that I understand, and then the sport's going to grow. So having more shows is a good thing. I almost wonder if there might be like a semifinal before, like all the qualifying Olympia athletes go to a semifinal 1 week out of the well, maybe not 1 week, because that would be, because then like
Do back to back.
yeah, that wouldn't be good. Off the top of my head, I don't know how that would work, but having some kind of semifinal where, okay, you qualify and then the top like 25 that are in the semifinal go to the Olympia, which is, I mean, they do that at prejudging, like only the top 10 go back. But yeah, I mean,
Different peaks though.
yeah, it would have to be different weeks. Like that wouldn't be fair to the athlete. It'd have to be like multiple weeks before, which would
Even-
that would ruin the prestige of it. You know what I mean? For them.
Yeah, and then also we've seen this in the open bodybuilding with a couple pros where they have had to go back and forth in their mind whether or not to do a show before the Olympia, being already qualified. Because they're already like, if I take that chance, there's a chance that I won't look as good on the Olympia stage. So I'd be a little nervous about doing a semi qualification. But I would love to see, less athletes for the finals like they do already for top 10 go to finals. But at the same time, we do have 40 athletes. So the one idea of, oh my God, you guys had a really good idea. What was it?
Doing a different day.
Yeah, yeah, versus like tier shows, because that was just like you said with the promoters, that's not fair to them at all because they're already putting on the show. But doing a different day, we could honestly have 2 female days at this point for how many divisions there are and how long they take. And knowing that the fit model division is going to be about a minute of stage time. And then I think they also had talked about too about narrowing down the time for men's physique down as well because they have too much time right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have 2 poses. It's like,
You look like an action figure. Get off the stage.
yeah.
I can't be a judge. I'm like, get off.
I mean,
I love it.
they milk it quite a bit.
Oh
They-
my Lord, I know. Like, did you guys see, I forget who it was. Some guy did a video like making fun of it. It was all in good fun. Like he's got men's physique clients, but he like how dramatic some of them are. And when we're at the Olympia, I remember there was like a couple guys at the end that were they were from overseas. And the drama and the posing, it was one of those like, it's like hard to watch. And
Yeah.
like, you get like that secondhand embarrassment. It was just like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
little too like flamboyant almost. Not, and I mean that just like too much drama going on.
Yeah, like too much. Like not.
yeah, it like took away from their physique. It's like when any competitor, like even with bikini or figure, like if you're like jarring around everywhere, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
It's distracting. It's like just
And-
go
and-
on, do your poses, get off.
Mhm. I
Hair gel.
agree. What'd you say, Carolyn?
A little too much hair gel going into the brain.
Carolyn feels a way about men's physique.
Yeah, I love Ryan Terry, but like, I could care less.
I know.
It's hard.
Oh, man. And the hard thing is they're not small.
No.
Like,
Huge.
they just some of them do too much. They do too much. And the personas and the makeup and
Yeah.
it's a little much, but
That's what does it for me is that part of just, and the fact, like, I'm sorry, I'm very like traditional in the sense, like, I want a man that has like big ass legs, like that likes to train legs, because that means like he's not a pussy. Not saying that any men's physique are. It's just like, don't be
Right.
afraid to train legs,
I know. Well, luckily I feel like they change the regulations for the trunk. So they're shorter. So they're actually telling them they do need to have more balanced physiques top to bottom.
That's
So I think
right.
they
They
actually
did.
did something about that. Yeah. And because I mean, here's the thing. The top men's physique competitors, they do have really good legs, and I'm sure a lot of them want to train legs, but they have the weight cap and they're not judged on them. So they're kind of putting them in like the division's criteria is putting them in a position where they kind of have to do it that way. But I feel like, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of them that don't want to train legs, but a lot of them do. Like when I've heard them get interviewed, they're like, I'm just at my weight cap and the judging criteria is not judging my quads. So like, why would I spend a bunch of time growing them when it's just going to put me out of my, you know what I mean? Which I understand. Like it puts them in a weird spot.
Mhm.
They do have to decide whether they want to move up to classic if they do
Yeah.
want to legs or like get bigger than their weight cap. So no, they definitely have the right. And they also, it's the same with bikini. It's like we can be too big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like to the point of going to wellness or going to figure, but there's a very clear criteria. And the change for the men's physique was done right before last year's Olympia. So they did say like, hey, you don't have to change your shorts right away, but for the coming year, this is what we're going to be looking for. So that was a really good move by the IFBB.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like a fair
So, Amanda, you need to tell us about your prep.
Oh yeah. It
I
doesn't,
was waiting.
well, I didn't want to just be like, let's talk about me, guys, because that's not my favorite thing at all. Like I really, yeah, I don't like talking about myself. I don't know, it feels weird. I don't know. I'm just
I understand.
like
I think
nobody
all of us are the
cares.
same way.
I'm
Yeah.
like, nobody gives a shit. Like I'm not doing anything exciting. So I am, let's see here, like about a weekend. So not a lot to report, of course. It's just like the first week. Um, but everything's going really well. I'm at like just a few calories shy of 2000 calories right now. Cardio is 200 calories 3 times a week fasted, and then 8,000 steps a day. Um, and then, yeah, 4 training days. So I do my check-ins on Thursdays now because Cameron has in contest people check in later in the week. Um, which is actually kind of nice for my schedule, to be honest, because checking in on Monday mornings, those are like my heavy meeting days, and that was it was fine, but it was a little bit of a pain. So this is actually going to be a lot nicer.
Mhm.
But I checked in with him today, and nothing's really changed. I'm about 20, 21 weeks out, depending on what show I go with. So we've got plenty of time. So right now we're not like hammering fat loss, like we're looking to tighten up, but we brought in some PEDs last week, so my weight stayed the same, but I'm like a lot more, you know how it feels like the first
Yep.
couple of weeks when you're like, oh, I actually have like fluid in my muscle. Okay, like I'm not a noodle. So,
You're like,
you know,
oh, there's like roundness here now.
oh yeah, and I like when I'm training and walking around, like, you know, you like get a pump walking, I'm like, okay. So I wasn't expecting any kind of weight change. And honestly, I was expecting it to go up, and it stayed basically exactly the same. So that's totally fine. But yeah, so basically it's just I'm a little bit fuller just from that. But yeah, no, I don't feel like I'm in prep, which is weird because normally I have so much weight to lose that I'm like already like looking for that fat loss. Like, you know, you're like 3 days in, you're like, am I leaner?
I know you're like checking for abs. You're like,
I
are they
know.
there yet? Like,
You're like,
oh, you tell
and
me.
we know how stupid that is, but you still are like, am I tighter? Because you're just on everything, like not on, like dialed on everything, not on all these drugs. I mean, you're like dialed on all of your, that sounded horrible. Um,
But
but
counting
yeah,
like your ketchup, you
do
know,
what?
like counting your ketchup into your macros, like little things like that.
Literally, yeah. So, but yeah, everything feels good. I'm just taking like 5 milligrams of R, and BPC 157 for recovery, and that's it right now. Like and I told Cameron and I are like in agreement. Like I'm not going to take anything else outside of just a little bit of R. And then we're going to implement some GH too, and just see how my body responds with that.
Mhm.
He's like, if your look gets a little watery, we'll pull it. I'm like, totally fine. We've got plenty of time though. I basically just wanted to do that just to like give me my glutes any fighting chance, man. Like anything I can do that's not going to be adding to the anabolic load for some glute fullness, like yes. So but like no fat burners or anything. I can't imagine we're going to pull those in until a lot more down the line.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, there's just no need right now. So yeah, pretty like nice steady start, and I feel like I'm still kind of getting into the groove of like getting up and doing cardio. That feels weird because it's been like a year and a half since I've done that. I usually just do it like haven't been doing cardio for a while, but if I was doing it, it was like just post workout, like just hop on something. Um, when he had me doing it, but yeah, so it's just getting back into the swing of it, and I like it feels like it all comes back. You know what I mean? Like all your little habits that you do in prep. I'm already like drinking the same like cardio cocktail that I always make. You
Those
know
are
what I
so
mean?
good.
Yeah, I know. And I never really want them in off season, but now I
Well,
have
in prep, it's like it's a prep thing.
it's a prep thing. And like I need
Yeah.
to have it, otherwise I can't like I don't know. It's just I find myself doing all my little things and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Well, it's like little things like, getting new meal prep containers, or like I just gotten some glass containers because things are on sale for Amazon. Everyone's on their healthy start, so it's a perfect time. So if you want like a brand new water bottle, or, getting your meal prep or like utensils on the go, then it's like, okay, at least it's available to you at a lower price. But it's the little things that like just make it sweeter, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and you guys, I'm using a meal prep company this time.
I
Um,
saw that.
Yeah, that was
dude,
cool.
Lifesaver.
well, first of all, Cameron has me eating like 4 different kinds of protein, which
Mm.
I need to do, and I appreciate him for the biodiversity.
Right.
You know what I mean? I need like diversity of nutrients, so it's amazing. However, for meal prep purposes, like on Sunday nights when I'm cooking like you know what I mean? It's just like, you guys know my schedule kind of like, it's balls to the wall every day, and
Mhm.
just taking that off my plate and Dan's, because Dan would just do it for me, but if I asked him to, but it's just, oh my gosh, they deliver it to our door. And I'm just like, it's so good. Like, and they're a bodybuilding company, so they don't cook with like oils or anything, like
Mm.
they're all on it.
I was
Um,
in Denver. You have a lot of options for meal prep companies. Do you?
no, I don't think so. I think they're the only one that I know of that's like bodybuilder owned, or not owned, like focused, like they cater to the body, like they deliver it to Armbrust, most of their meals. And then now they just added on, delivery to your door. That's why I wasn't doing it before, because I'm not going to drive 40 minutes to Armbrust.
Right. Because you guys are quite a ways now.
Well, yeah, that would like defeat the purpose. I may as well just meal prep myself at that point with that
Right.
time of there and back. Um, even if they had delivered to Armbrust on a Sunday, I could make that work and make sure we train there that day, but they'd only do it on Monday. But since they
Uh,
added in this, oh my God, and it's so good. Like everything's like tender, nothing's dry. They season it so well. And I'm like, oh, it's a life changer. It's
that's
so
awesome.
good. Yeah. And it's just going to save us so much time. I'm so excited about it. So that's been amazing. But honestly, I never did it before. I just couldn't really afford it before. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and also especially now, it's one of those things too, is like when your schedule is so jam-packed, you're actually giving yourself money back because now you have more time, one for prep, but then also for your jobs as well. So that way it's one less thing to think about. So, it's like the little things, like having someone to come and do your lawn. Like sometimes you end up reaching a point where you're like, hey, that's actually something that would give me back time and that pays me
Yeah.
overall. And especially if
Mhm.
there's
Oh,
in the neighborhood like yourself with the delivery option versus having to pick it up, done.
so
It's
nice.
so nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And like I said, I couldn't afford it before, and Dan and I have worked our asses off the last couple years to just continue to elevate our earnings. I don't know the right way to say that, just to continue to grow in our incomes. And I work a full-time job. I have 18-ish clients, and I keep like a full roster. Dan's been like getting promotions at work, and like we're working our asses off. And so it's just nice to be like, oh, okay, like some of these little things that I couldn't afford a couple years ago. Um, it's like, man, I can actually afford that for myself now. And it's kind of cool. It's like a small thing, but it's also not, because it would have never even been an option before. And I almost feel like, you guys will get this, I feel lazy that I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm not a real bodybuilder if I'm not prepping my own food. You know what I mean?
I
And
would feel that.
yeah, I feel like an asshole kind of, but I'm like, you know what though? I work so hard, and so does Dan, for our money. And if there's things I can now afford that give me some time back, um, why would I be working so hard if I don't afford myself those opportunities? Like it's like continuing to live in a poor mindset. Not that we were poor,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like continuing to live
Scarcity
in
mindset.
in the same financial mindset that you were however many years ago, and then you start accruing more financial freedom, and then you're still living like you were making what you were making 5 years ago. It's like, well, what's the point if you're not even able to kind of, intelligently afford yourself some more luxuries like that? So yeah, it's it was cool. I was like, oh, it's just so nice. And it's so good. They cook their meats way better than I do. Like I make everything dry. So I was very excited.
Well, it's good to be able to enjoy your food, you know, especially when calories get low. That's always a good thing. That's why we become like really obsessed about seasonings and like cooking methods
Mhm.
during prep is because, you know, you're calorie restricted so much. So it's like, hey, might as well make it really, really good. And there was another thing on that too. Well, that's why also in my last prep, I ended up getting Instacart because I'm in the office every day through the week and limited hours, and then having to do cardio at like 7, 8 o'clock when I get home, and God knows how long that cardio is going to be. It's like, I'm sorry, the last thing I want to do is drive another 30 minutes to go to the store, spend like, 30 minutes there and then drive through. And I know that sounds really bad because there are people out there who do not have Instacart and have to make those runs. But it really, like in those pinch of scenarios when you are prepping, time is everything. Time, you have to have time management skills before you start prep. And especially just knowing where to go for those groceries, like looking at the weekly ads, whether it's like Sprouts or Aldi or Trader Joe's, it's like that really does pay off in the long run. But having a meal prep company can save so much time and stress and energy through all of that. So if somebody was, in prep, I would say, hey, yeah, do the meal prep company or get Instacart, especially if you're in an office full time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the other thing is too, is that I thought about, is now that I'm in a more of a, not more of a, now that I'm in a management role at I call it my non-bodybuilding job. It's not part of my coaching. I have to be so for that job and then for my clients, I have to be incredibly focused and present with every single facet of both of those jobs. And if my energy is being expended on things like that, it's just going to take away from my ability to expend that time and dedication to those things. And I've found that I have to let some of that go, that kind of guilt for getting help, you know what I mean? Or for even affording myself some help. Cause I'm like, I can't take on these things if I'm continuing to do all this other stuff. Like if I'm going to continue to grow, I have to start displacing some things, where and when I can. Otherwise, like if I'm spending like, however many hours a week doing meal prep and a few other things that I could just afford to hire people to do, I'm like, that's just going to give me that much more time and energy for the things that are most important to me, which are, of course, my bodybuilding clients, my job, and my husband. Dan being number one. So it's just, it pays off in dividends, like Caroline, just like you said, like it affords you that back. But sometimes it's not even like money, it's just peace of mind. And so that you can allocate that focus areas that require it the most.
Mhm. I love that. I think that's really helpful. And I think if, like you said, people shouldn't have a scarcity mindset about that type of stuff or make you feel like you're lazy. Like I know another common one, like I always said, when I make enough money, I'm gonna just have someone come and clean my house just like twice a month because I just don't want to do it and I just don't have the time for it. So, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. So, there's just certain things that you can do for yourself to make life easier. And like, if you have the means for it, do it. Like you've earned it, you worked your ass off, like you should do that. So yeah, I agree. But I'm really excited for your prep. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think you're starting out in like a much better position, like probably the best spot you've ever been in for this prep. So
Yeah, for sure. My 2021 prep was similar body fat wise. I was just really small. And that was a 14-week prep and I lost like 21 pounds. So it was similar in a sense of like weight I needed to lose. But this time I'm in a way better spot in a sense of like, I'm a lot closer to the division criteria than I would fucking hope so, than I was 4 years ago. So it's going to be a much more rewarding process. I always get like super anxious as I get lean just because I've said it 1,000 times, but my glutes are my weak point, and the leaner I get, I'm just like, I'm
like
always
like
just
crossing
like,
your fingers that like the glutes are staying, the glutes are staying.
They're just, honestly, you guys, I just don't have, like, this can be overcome with more time. I think to enough of a degree. I just do not have the best insertion points on my glutes, on my upper and outer. My tie-ins are fine, like the shape of those are fine, but where my max ties in with my med and my erectors and just how all of that's placed, it isn't the best. And that's just a structure thing. Now, like I said, I can overcome it with a lot more density, which I'm totally going to do. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, my genetics, murmur. Like, there's a lot of things about my genetics that help me a ton, but that's my negative that I have. Like, that's my thing to overcome, is just, I just do not have the best structural insertions with my glutes. So the way to overcome that is just grow so much density that you can't, it just kind of blurs those. I just have lines and funky places on my upper glutes. And they insert really short on the sides too. So I just don't have that pop on the top. So I'm just gonna have to keep working and grinding. It's just gonna take me, longer than some others, but that's all right. I mean, those are the cards I have, and like, I'm just gonna do everything I can to keep working towards it. And that's just all you can do.
And density takes time. Like you
It
can't,
does.
like you can train hard as fuck, but like either way, like you still just need time for density to happen. Like
It's true. And I think the other problem I have, and people out there listening might be able to relate to this. I did not have good activation in my glutes at all for years. So like the rest of my body grew and they didn't. So it's like, okay, my muscles grow. It's not like I'm just a lanky bean all the time. So I was like, it's not just that my muscle won't grow. I'm like, there's an activation connection problem there, because the muscles I connect to, I'm not like a hyper responder, but they grow like pretty well. Like they're fine. I'm not going to grow like into figure or something, but for bikini, my growing genetics are fine. My body is so fucking tight, you guys. Like I'm like a rubber band ball. Like it's just my fascia, everything is so tight and the nerves are so sensitive. And basically, like anyone I've gone to get body work done on my glutes, they're like, it's almost like the muscle's just like stuck. Like it's so tight on there. There's not a lot of movement. It's so bound up. And I think that's been a big part of my problem. So I'm doing PEMF, I'm doing body work, I'm doing cupping, I'm doing all these things just to kind of loosen that. And I've been working on my activation for the past like year and a half, and it's so much better than what it was. But I think just for whatever reason, the way I hold stress, just the way I've moved for my whole life, my posture, everything kind of plays into it. Those muscles back there are just really bound up. So they're not able to move and activate like they're supposed to. So I'm hoping that over the next couple of years, as I get that worked out, I'm going to be able to garner better and better growth from it. But yeah, guys, that's why body work is so important. Like there's just things anatomically and because of how you've moved and operated your whole life that are limiting you, that can be remedied and fixed. It's just going to take some time and intention with it. And for me, like I just never felt my glutes training until like maybe a year and a half ago. So as sad as that sounds, like they've still grown a little bit between before then, but proportionately the rest of me has grown a lot, and then my glutes just kind of lagging. And that's a lot of why. And I had to really go back to basics, do a lot of body weight banded work just to kind of build those pathways. But you have to, people like, you got to be willing to do that. Like if you've got a weak body part, you've got to be willing to go back to basics and set your ego down and just be like, okay, what do I need to do to figure this out? And you either overcome it or you get owned by it,
No, it's
that's go ahead, Carolyn.
yeah, no, it's so true. And especially knowing that you have such a great body work, what do you call him? Like body work
Specialist. Person,
guy.
Yeah.
On your side, and able to identify that, because I feel like that's such an overlooked, part of bodybuilding is having a good bodywork person in your corner, because you could be doing everything right in your training and your videos and your form look great, but you could, like you said, not feel your glutes at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. Cause it's like, You know, I looked at, like, I had no shoulders before, like my arm just went like this into my clavicle, and my delts grew like in a year and a half, like no problem, like super quick. And it's just, I activate them, I can feel them, I get them pumped really easily, and I have no problem feeling them at all. I don't know really why. That's just how I'm put together and whatnot. And so like I saw those grow, like what can happen when you have that. But I mean, I think a lot of people have body parts like that. Like it's just, man, for whatever reason, it's just so hard to connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of bodybuilding, is you have to be willing to take a step back and be like, okay, you know, what's going on here? Let me try a few different modalities. Like I've gotten massage, I've gotten like all kinds, worked with all kinds of people just to kind of like, what's going to help me get this right? Stretching, mobility, like all the things. And you just have to keep working at it and you'll eventually figure it out. But I think a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't really feel it. I don't want to do that exercise, or I don't want to mer. And it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. It's like you're really stopping before you even know what your potential is, because you're just not willing to take the time. And people get so damn impatient. And I get it. Like, you think I don't want juicy glutes? Of course I do. But I'm like, what am I going to do anyway? I may as well just keep working towards it and trying to figure it out. And I'm like, I don't care if I'm still 43 and trying to get a pro card, and just like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to be hammering at this until I figure it out.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good point too, is like the whole thing about like relearning exercises, going back to zero, dropping your ego is a big thing. Like I also have spent this entire last year just like me and Carolyn were talking about it, like relearning how to like train hard again, because it was pounded into my head that like if you go too hard, you're gonna hurt your cortisol and like you're gonna have cortisol issues and blah blah blah. And I had to like finally just be like, quit being a pussy and just like train, like you're gonna be fine, like you know what it feels like kind of thing. And then, you know, also just relearning bad habits from powerlifting. Like I still have habits of like, I changed my dumbbell incline press this week, or 2 weeks ago. I changed it to dumbbell incline press, and I still have the tendency, like, I just want to arch my back and like hold it up like a power lifter and like knock it out, you know, like, but like we literally dropped the weight and Tyler's like, okay, hold your stomach, like how you're supposed to, like breathe and then push up and pause. And I'm like, it was super hard with like 35s, and I can do like 20 pounds more than that. So like just being able to do that is really important, you know, at any level, really. So,
Oh yeah. Like I was RDLing 100-pound dumbbells in 2021. So
mhm.
you think at least by now I should be like doing like the 125s, but I wasn't, like my glutes weren't activating with that at all. And it's not like, even right now, I could probably RDL like the 80s or 90s with my glutes activating, but it's like I had to just set it all down and be like, look, like moving weight is not the same thing as isolating and growing a muscle. It's not, you guys. Like I could lift some heavy ass weight, and I'm not a power lifter. I'm a bikini competitor. And so I had to be like, okay, I got to change everything I was doing. And it's just, I don't take like, I'm not going to take my situation with it as like no for an answer. You know what I mean? I'm just going to figure it out until I have the physique that they deem worthy of a pro card. You know what I mean? It's like, I know it's possible, with however much time, like whenever it's my time, it's my time, and I'm going to keep working at it. But a lot of times, like, oh, I just like lifting heavy, I don't want to do that. It's like, okay, well then you may be sacrificing progress in that way.
Mhm.
Like, do I prefer to just like do a leg press with a fuckload of plates on it? I love that feeling more than anything, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to grow my glutes like that if they're not activating. So, you know, it's like, and now, I started like on a Smith machine with no weight on it after my last prep in 23. And I could barely do like a quarter on each side and feel my glutes. And now I can do a plate and a quarter. And it's like, okay, that is fucking progress. And I was squatting a plate and a quarter years ago, but it was all leg.
Yep.
So, but it took me that long until I'm like, okay, through the last failure rep, glutes are engaged and they're pumped. That's
Yep.
my marker for like, okay, I can go up and weight now.
Yep. Yep. I think that a lot of people, the other mistake that they make is just going too fast through exercises, because you know they'll ego won't go down, and then your body will compensate with not the right body part, typically like with RDLs, for example, like your back will take over and then
Yep.
you have back issues. And then the other thing I see a lot of times is like doing more weight, you're capable of doing it, but you're doing it way too fast.
Yep.
And they're just like, pumping out a lat pull down like this. And it's like, your form looks pretty good and you might connect with it, but like you're going to get so much more out of it. Of like, do that same weight, but try to do it for like a pause in the bottom and then a controlled time up, because that eccentric motion is going to carry over so much better and like so much more time under tension with that load. So that's what we try to like do with clients and stuff, that especially want to grow muscle. So
Yeah. It takes, I think people really underestimate how long it takes to master a movement. And we're all like, the open guys are still doing it. They've been training for probably 15 to 25 years, depending on who you're looking at. And I still have so much work I can do on my hip thrust, on my squat, on my every single movement could use so much work. And it's fun. Like, that's why I'm like, when people are always like wanting a new training program all the time, like there's no fucking way you have mastered.
Nope.
Like, I understand maybe wanting just like a little bit of a mix up for sure. Like, we all get kind of bored if it's been like 4 to 6 months, totally get it. I've been on the same program for a year and I do the exact same movements. Like, sometimes I change the order depending on if a machine's available. Sometimes I'll do a drop set if I'm feeling like just want to, because I just like, sometimes I like an intensifier, but the core movements, like, they don't change. And I've not yet mastered those movements. Like, I still have work to do. And every time I go into that gym, I'm like, I want that movement to feel better. I want those reps to feel smoother, cleaner. I want to make sure my engagement, there's so many markers I'm looking for. So I don't ever really feel monotonous or totally bored by doing those same movements. Maybe I mix up, like I said, the order, add some intensifiers or change them, or change like the rep number, like maybe go into like a 15, 20 rep set versus like the 8 to 10, just for funsies, but it's like, no, I get excited and I love when a movement, just like, you guys know what it is, like, it's been a few weeks, you're like, holy shit, that felt so smooth and clean. And everything was just firing the way I wanted it. That's exciting. And you only get that by doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to squat for 4 months, take it away, and then go back and squat again like a year later and think that your squat's gotten better.
Yeah. No.
Like, no.
It's continually the time under tension that we have to do. And like you said before, about your squat, is one of those things is that you're not going to be squatting the same as you are now as you were before, because you've been able to change those modalities and also recognize that, hey, this needs to be improved. We're always improving our lifts. And we've been for a really long time.
And that's what grows muscle. Like, the basics fucking work for a reason.
You don't gotta do these crazy exercises, just do the basics and do them well. Like, same as you, Amanda, like since I started working with Luke, I've literally been on like pretty much the same program. We've only switched out certain exercises due to like, this makes my back feel weird and like, I just can't quite get it, but it's the same movement patterns. The whole thing has been the same. And so, like you said, I'll only ever switch out, like, instead of like rear delt flies on the cable machine, I'll do them on the actual fly machine or something like that,
Oh, totally. And that's a good thing to do, because if it's like, because there's obviously like RDL machines, there's dumbbells, there's barbells. If one of my clients is like, hey, I really feel this so much better using a barbell versus blah, 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 I'm like, totally, let's do that. If there's something that's causing injury or pain, by all means, like, we need to address that. Like, I'm not just like, keep pushing through the pain. Like, of course not.
Fuck it up.
Yeah, no, that's never the good idea. But there's also like 10 different ways to do a squat. You can do safety bar, you can do Smith machine, you can do barbell, you can do box squats. There's squat machines, there's Squat Pro. Like, let's find the ones that you're like, this just feels smooth and really good on my body. And then let's stick with those. Luckily with machines nowadays, there's like almost limitless options, but the movement patterns are the same. It, like, for your lower body, it's like a squat, some kind of deadlift, some kind of lunge or split squat. For bikini, probably a step up and a kickback, and some kind of glute drive hip thrust of some sort. And that's And then like you like machines for like extensions and curls, but that's kind of your bread and butter right there.
Yep.
You know what
Basic.
I mean?
Mhm.
It's like,
Yep.
yeah, that's your movement.
Yep. I mean, like when I first started with Luke, like we were doing like Smith machine squats, like quad focused, and like that was going really good. I just found out that with my body, like if I have like barbell loaded on my back for like week over week over week, my CNS just gets really stressed and then it starts to like my body just hurts. So we switched it to hack squat.
Yep.
No issues. Like I feel strong as fuck on hack squat. Do I want to switch in like, Smith squats again at some point? Yeah, because I like them, like they're fun,
Yeah.
but you know, it I also like deadlifting, but we just don't do that right now because it's not the goal. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. But it's not like you have all these brand new exercises you've never done.
No.
It's just, sometimes it's like when I'm writing plans, that's just, I'm so traditional in that way. I'm like, yeah, we can switch up like the modality. Like instead of, you've been doing dumbbell RDLs, let's switch to a machine or a trap bar or a barbell, like something like that, just to kind of change hand placement, shoulder placement. And, but then I'm, sometimes like most of my clients, like I tell them at a time, like, by the way, I'm not doing these like bougie little, like giant sets and supersets. Like that's not like I do some supersets like on upper body days. I like them sometimes, but I'm like, these are going to be really similar. Like, don't be expecting, I'm like reinventing the wheel with your training. Like we
Mhm.
may switch out, like I like to switch out, types of volume that I'm using, intensifiers that I'm using, um, just to kind of get their mind in a different state of mind. Like sometimes I like someone to do high volume for a while. Like maybe I know they're a beginner and they're not skilled to hit failure yet. So let's do
Mhm.
more volume. And then I have clients that they hammer themselves. If anything, they maybe overdo. And I'm like, let's keep your rep range like in the 8 to 10. Let's not overdo like the number of sets. I'm not giving them a fuckload of intensifiers because they'll just crash themselves out. So it's like but the basics work and they work for a reason, and looking to master them is exactly what you should be doing if you're trying to be a competitor.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Always have to put it into context. Like I posted something today about like your like how to make pressing movements better. And like it was two simple things of just don't go too fast and then don't let your elbows come behind you kind of thing.
Yep.
But you have to put it into context. Like this is the concept to build muscle, not to necessarily be stronger. Like you will still get stronger, but like as a power lifter, like I would not train the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you always have to put it into the right context. And this is where I think a lot of the arguments start of like the right way to train, because like
Yeah.
everybody's gonna do it differently. Everyone's body's different, everyone has different anatomy. That's just how it is. So
Talk
just
about an argument where everyone loses. That's one of them.
literally, like there's never, it's just gonna be what works best for you kind of thing. And like, I'm sure like you guys do it with your coaching, but like that's why we ask for videos of training, because like I want to see how you move. I want to see like where your imbalances are and stuff, and just, you know, your intensity level. What's a 10 for you might not be a 10 for somebody else. So
And some people aren't ready to do certain movements. Like
no.
like a squat is an advanced fucking movement. It's not something I'm going to throw at like a brand new baby that has like no muscle. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's probably a really great way for someone to injure themselves. Now we may still have a squat movement, but it may be on a machine that's safer, not a barbell. You know what I mean? Where they don't even know how to feel their body. Now it's different when you're training with someone in person, like that's where you can actually be there to control it, but we're not doing that. So
Right.
it's like, let's work up to these things. Let's make sure that we've got some muscle foundation, you know how to move and feel your body, right? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really necessarily know why it needs to be like such a crazy argument, unless there's someone doing things that is injuring people, or it's just really incorrect and it could injure somebody. Like that's of course not
Mhm.
okay. But
Seems
sometimes
like
they're so silly. You're just like, you have two giant bodybuilders that got there by doing it their way and it worked for them, and the other one saying that they're wrong. And I'm like, guys,
I know it's so stupid. And yeah, like on your point of like doing things with people that are new and like a beginner, like we actually just have had someone new that came in and like she's been training for a while. She's with another coach and she she was doing way too much like compound movements and just way too much for what she's capable of. And she just had like really weak glutes and weak hamstrings. And like she couldn't feel anything. Like there's no activation. So like we literally took her down and we're like, we're gonna do basics. And like you're gonna probably think it's boring, but like Tyler took her through the first week and it took them like 2 hours. And like she's like, I've never felt like that before, like in
Yeah.
training session. And it's like, okay, that's how it should be, you know? And then from there we just work it up, you know?
And that's how
Yeah.
it should be, because that's how you actually get people to love it. Because
Mhm.
if you just throw them in it, they could hurt themselves and not want to do it again or be scared to do it again.
Mhm.
Feel like they don't know what they're doing and just feel very confused. And that's not a great way to introduce somebody to weightlifting. Like you
Right.
want to give them building blocks and like just like you said, have them send you the videos. And it's amazing that you and Tyler can do it in person with some of your clients, because that's the
You're
idea
lucky.
there.
Mhm.
Totally. Because you can really walk them through it. But once they kind of start building, like laying those bricks and they feel that progress, most people get pretty hooked on it because they start seeing themselves grow and get stronger. And it's like, holy shit, like I've never seen my body do something like this before, but you walked them through it the right way. It'd be like throwing a kindergartner into calculus. It's like,
Right.
you can't do that. Like you've got to build them up and give them things they can actually do right now, things that their body can actually do, and not make them feel like they're full of arthritis after one day. You know,
Mhm.
it's like
Mhm.
there's a way, yeah, there's a much better way to introduce people to it. And it sounds like, you guys are obviously doing that. It's really important.
And the other thing too is that, so often I see people make training more complicated than it really is. It
Mhm.
really is not that complicated, but it really is also a specialization. So you do have to go to the right people who understand body mechanics and making those adjustments for those people. That's why, even though we are online coaches and we do see form videos, I do always say, hey, maybe if you join if they're a brand new beginner and never stepped foot in the gym before, then it's like, hey, take advantage of the free training for an hour where one of the trainers at the gym is able to show you how to properly use the machines. And
Yes.
take advantage of that because that's free. That's a part of
Mhm.
your membership. And then you can relay that back to us who are online and saying, hey, did you feel really good on that movement? Do you feel like you can confidently do it? And send me a video back. And that's huge because you really have to make sure the only way they're going to do it is if they feel confident about it, or else they're going to get either one, like you said, Amanda, like frustrated and tired and want to not do it, or they get really bored and they're like, nah, this is not for me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Guys, like when I first stepped into a gym, which was in my late 20s, like I didn't know shit about fuck. Like I remember Googling the machines because I didn't even know how to use them. And I would just like go into YouTube and like watch like, because I think Hammer Strength, they have like little tutorial videos on how to use their machines. I like my very first coach, she put like single leg RDL. I had no idea what that even stood for. I had no idea what that even meant. And I watched like every YouTube video I could find. I watched a lot of Mountain Dog. Thank God for John Meadows. His
Lovely.
arsenal of or his library on YouTube. I've seen every one of his videos multiple times. All my clients know I link his videos a lot of times in my plans because I'm like, this is, yeah, it's so phenomenal. But I remember just sitting there like not knowing how to do anything. And I'm sure like my first year, oh my gosh, like talk about a like baby's first lift. Like I had no idea what I was doing. Like there were times when I thought like this movement's working this muscle. And it's like, no, it's not at all. Like that's just part of it. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. That's what the internet's for. Thank God for the internet.
Mhm.
I watched other people in my gym that had bodies that I wanted, like that had muscular bodies. I'd watch them do the movement, then I would try it. I would go to people and ask questions. Like you just got to be in a place of curiosity and learning about it and not trying to protect some stupid like opinion that you have or your ego about it. Cause it's not gonna result into what you want on stage at all.
Mhm. Mhm. It's unfortunate, but that's it. That brings up like a topic that we were talking about the other day, like at the gym about people just having like egos and like not having a sense of curiosity or being like too afraid to go ask questions. Cause like we see, I mean, and I'm sure everywhere you see people doing shit wrong all the time, but like you see those people that continually do the same things over and over and over and like never change. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, do you realize that you're not making any sort of progress and like you're just spinning your wheels at this point? Like, you would think you would look up something and be like, well, why does this hurt my knee? Or like, why does this not feel right? Why am I not feeling this in my butt where I'm supposed to, like
In my butt.
that's how I would.
Don't, you guys don't feel things in your butt. Just
No, don't feel things in your butt. That's not unless then it's fine.
fine. In your glute muscle, yes, but not yet.
The
Sorry.
gluteuses.
I'm
Um,
totally.
but yeah, so we were just talking about that and just like we don't like and this is just like us being like very curious and wanting to learn of like why don't people seek out coaching, like learning themselves first, like why don't more people do that, and it is interesting, but
Especially in the era of the internet, like no one has any
yes,
excuse. Like, was I doing those movements perfectly? No, but I wasn't like flailing around. Like if I
right.
was doing, I remember watching how to do a lunge, like a proper lunge. It was like, I probably looked a little wobbly and funky, but I wasn't like, my knee was just falling in and like,
Like
I
up
was
on your toe and like, yeah.
no, like it was at least like, okay, no one needs to like go up to me and be like, are you okay? You know what I mean? Like I had an idea and then just mastering it and perfecting it and practicing it. But there's some people that will like confidently go in there and like do crazy shit. And you're just like, oh no. And you
And
see
you
them
see
in
those
there.
people and you're just like, okay then.
That's how you become a meme. So
And it's not to be like, like I said, everyone knows that there's a learning curve for sure. But I've seen people that go in the gym and they've been training that way for years. And I'm
Yep.
like, I don't know. I just think with the YouTubes and the internets available, like I'm talking about you guys, I'm talking about glaring things like swinging your body in a bicep curl. It's like, okay,
My favorite is this when people do lateral races.
oh, they like do the
Like
ostrich
the
with their
chicken
hand,
peck.
or
Yep.
the chicken peck.
The
Yeah.
chicken.
You're
And a
like,
lot of cooldowns, the chicken.
and please,
yeah,
one, do not scream. Do not
do not
not,
scream.
like let everyone know that you're lifting. No one cares.
Dan loves when people scream in the gym.
Oh, so does Tyler. There's a dude in our gym that like he sounds like he's having an orgasm every time.
Well, I know that's the worst when it's like sexual sounds. I'm like, we're all
There's a
uncomfortable.
girl too. There's a girl in the gym and she like has these screams and I'm like,
Is she okay?
Like she's at it again.
Because if you give like a little grunt or something, or
Yeah.
even like a hefty grunt, that's not a big deal. Like no one's saying you have to be like quiet as a mouse while you're training. But
Perfect.
sometimes it's like the blood curdling. Like I've heard it through my noise canceling headphones and it like jarred me through that. And you guys know I'm like bass dropping my EDM in my workouts. I'm not listening to like slow music. Like if I hear you through that and it's like jarring me, I'm like, what is happening? Like, what are you okay? Please stop. Oh my God.
If anything too, you're just gonna get a nickname. So like there's a gym member we call Caveman because he likes to
Oh, no.
grunt. And he's looked the same for the last 5 years. So please do not be that person.
Please don't. There was one girl, Dan told me this story about our gym that she was just making like really sexual sounds and the gym had to like ask her to leave because it was making everyone uncomfortable. It was like,
Oh man.
everyone that's listening to this, you guys have all heard the person that you're like, are they enjoying that or not enjoying it? Like what's happening over there? And it's just like, it gives you it's like the big time the ick. It's just like, guys, like, can we not? Can we just,
But if you wear gloves to the gym, get it. Just leave.
There's a couple like older people that wear
Coming
gloves
for
to the
blood.
gym and they're great, at least at our gym, and like they're great to talk to, but otherwise, like, yeah, the gloves
Not
thing.
concerned about your calluses, you have bigger problems.
Okay, there's this dude at our gym, and like I don't know his name or anything like that, but like we'll see him in there sometimes, and he just is like, this is like the best person in the gym. He'll just be at the mirror and he'll just like start dancing like with his music and stuff and like doing his weights and stuff. And like he's just in his own world, dancing away,
Cute.
having a great old time. And I'm like, that's a good person.
That's
Like,
that's so cute. I love when people are over there like vibing in their like they're just like in their space and they're just like dancing. I love that. I think it's
mhm.
someone's just like feeling their music and they're just having like the best. You just know they're having the best time ever there. I
Yep.
love
Yep, that's my favorite.
Was up in a Dragon Ball t-shirt and I'm like, hell yeah.
hell yeah.
Like the same uniform every single day. And there's another guy who has like the Karate Kid like strap, and I'm like, you're a cool dude. And I started talking to him and I was like, really cool.
That's awesome. I love when people are just like feel comfortable to be themselves, but
Yep.
you know, they're not. If you're being yourself while screaming, maybe be yourself a little less. Just don't
We
scream.
won't talk to you if you scream, but if you
Don't
are
scare people. Yeah, don't scare people in a crowded building. Like, let's not do that.
or make
Mhm.
sexual sounds that make you leave.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Just be yourself a little quieter.
Mhm.
Just like leave things at home.
Leave them at home. Guys, I think I need to we have to go to the gym tonight still. And
Oh man. Oh
it's
man, I can't believe we've been on this long already.
I know I was like, I hate to cut it because I was the one that was late because I just don't have my shit together. That's totally on me.
Oh, you're
Um,
good.
but yeah, we're gonna head to the gym here. Dan is always patiently waiting. He's amazing. But I love you guys so much and I miss you and I can't wait to see you in less than 2 months.
I know, I'm so excited. You're gonna get a hug from a midget and it's gonna be great.
I sprout.
Yes, a little sprout. Tyler has the girls calling me Hobbit. It's great.
Oh no.
Oh,
They need to call you something cute like Polly Pocket or something.
Polly Pocket.
It's at least like girly and cute. You're like,
It's
can you
cute.
not call me Frodo? Like, what's happening?
I'm
You're like, I don't have
like,
hairy feet. Like, ew.
I don't have hairy feet. What the heck?
Yeah, a hobbit. I'm like, I feel like I think of, I don't know. I think of more of like a dude with a hobbit. I feel like Polly Pocket is cute. Have them call you Polly. That's cute.
I'm gonna be Polly.
And you are cute and you're beautiful. So yeah, no hobbit here.
no.
You. Thank you. This is why you guys are my best friends.
Yeah, you're like, thanks, guys.
All right. Well, we'll let you go. We'll all peace out till 2 weeks. I did just drop the other episode
Yay!
today, so we had to make up from being holidays and stuff like that. So this one will go out not this coming week, but the week after. So
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love you guys. Thank you for your endless patience with me and my crazy schedule. I appreciate you immensely.
we love you, and I'm just glad that we get to get on a call every other week and get to
I
chat.
know. I
So
know.
much
And I'm
fun.
hoping once these new hires are onboarded and this new software I'm implementing at work is done, I'll have a little bit, it'll be a little less hectic and I won't feel so discombobulated, but we're getting there. We're gonna make it.
You're good. You're good. All right. Bye, guys. Love
Bye,
you.
guys.